I interviewed a local elderly gentleman who, while not being opposed to having details of his life related, chose to not have his name be disclosed. He was born in Santaquin, Utah, and early in his life went on a mission to Hawaii and there learned to speak the Hawaiian language. He came home and he studied engineering at the University of Utah and also served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. He worked in construction as a general contractor for most of his life, and in the early 90s he suffered a severe stroke which paralyzed the right half of his body, and the ramifications which we'll discuss a little later. He has a lot of interest in building and planning things, and often goes out with the tools to measure and does things on site. He likes to track the weather and keep track of how much rainfall and snowfall we've had. He also draws plans on his computer. On his typical day, he rises and prepares for his day between 8 and 9 o'clock. Between 9:30 and 10:30, he has his breakfast and medications while watching the morning news. And between 10:30 and 12, which can vary between days, he works on his computer doing indexing or possibly reading his scriptures or drawing plans. Around 12 to 1, his caretaker arrives and prepares him lunch. Between 1 and 5 o'clock, it may vary from day to day again, but he may spend the afternoon watching cowboy shows, or further doing computer work, or possibly take a nap. Between 6 and 7 he normally has dinner, and between 7 to 10 he tends to spend some time reading with his adult son. And from 10 to 11 he normally takes his time to prepare for bed. The challenges that came from his stroke led to him being paralyzed in half his body. And after that, he had to relearn how to walk, how to drive, and how to write, because he was paralyzed in his right half, and he was right-handed. Due to his difficulty walking, he can't go too far from a bathroom, and tends to be fairly homebound and can't travel very much. And another problem that he's had lately was his computer started to go bad and kept shutting itself off, and he had to get a new computer, but he has had a lot of difficulty learning how to handle the new computer and use the same programs he used before, but on the newer computer. Due to his difficulty walking, he has used a walking stick for a long time, but has since had to progress to a walker, and now can barely get around without using a wheelchair. He has poor eyesight and requires use of glasses, and in order to bathe himself requires use of a walk-in bathtub. While he does not drive much anymore, he has admitted that driving with one hand is difficult, and has admitted that having a steering wheel knob would aid in his driving ability, and also having hand controls would aid with having difficulty with his paralyzed leg. Another assistive technology that would aid him would be using a left-hand mouse on his computer. And something else that he has admitted that would help him would be technical assistance on learning how to use his new computer and helping him to increase his knowledge with using the same programs that he's used before, but on the new computer.